Greetings, peace and blessings, everybody. Appreciate y'all coming on in. Come on through, slide on through, come on through. Y'all, I apologize for being a bit behind. You know how it goes. Every time, every time you go to do something, it's always something that seems to be unexpected, right? But I'm here. I'm here. Peace and blessings to the chat. I appreciate y'all being here in the building. And yes. I hope everybody's day is going well and people are, what Miss Yo Thoughts say, making something move. We out here making something move. We out here keeping the thing, keeping productive, and especially with everything that's going on with the election, the aftermath is just starting. So it seems to be a lot, right? Yeah, I'm gonna switch my screens around. Bear with me for a second. I'm not liking that vantage point and that view. There we go. Okay, yes. All right. So we got sis, your thoughts in the building. Peace and blessings, sis. Phoenix rising. The beautiful Phoenix is in the house. We got Celia Binya. That name just flows, even if I'm not pronouncing it right. It just the way it just rolls off the tongue. It's just a beautiful thing. I appreciate y'all for being here. So we're gonna get right off into it. I know other people are live. For those that are coming in and watching the replay, please, if you don't mind, hit the notification bell. If you're subscribed, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. If I'm not mistaken, I think the membership tab is pinned at the top of the chat. If you would like to consider becoming a member, it will be greatly appreciated. And I'm thankful to those that are currently members. I much love to y'all, much appreciation. And so I notice I might be a little bit behind a day or so when it comes to the reactions to everybody, or to the liberals at the results of the election. However, I tried to pick a few that maybe, either mixed up, or we're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I had to. I had to because I just thought, behest of me, I thought it was funny. I don't mean to, not take it seriously, how people feel that the candidate that they voted for, the one that they, selected to win did not win. However, um, I don't know. I just have a feeling that a lot of the reasons as to why people voted the way that they did, if, for whoever it was, that the reasons were substantial, that it was for policies, it was for, some type of expected change. And the difference between the current administration and the elected administration is that, well, on both ends, we've been here before, but we're currently in a situation during this administration where it's just like it's affecting everyone in not so good of a fashion. You may have people that feel like they're benefited, but it's not all the way around. And I'm basing this off of conversations I've had, off of, things that I've seen, just based off of my own life. I definitely was in a different position and a different element when Trump was in office from 2016 to 2020. So then I have been in the past 4 years. And even though it's been a gradual process, it's been a process nonetheless, right? So yeah, it's just a lot going on with that. But it just amazes me how, and no disrespect to anybody on who prefer to be in office. I'm not here to add insult to injury. However, if it had been the other candidate that won, we would be having a totally different discussion, but there would be very little consideration and empathy given to, the people that support other than Kamala Harris, if for lack of a better term, right? So, hey, Bolo, peace and blessings to you. Thank you for being here. We're gonna go right off into it, y'all, because this one here, and I'm gonna go in with the gangbangers. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have chose that word. Ghostbusters. I don't know. I can't get away from the G word, but you know what I mean. So let's just y'all forgive me, pray for me, and yeah, pray for this one too.
How did I wake up to this garbage as my president? That's right, garbage. I went to bed last night and she was ahead. I woke up to this freaking nightmare. Donald Trump? How? Does America have this many Nazi, Hitler following pieces of trash? I thought America was already great. Kamala had our economy skyrocketing. People were happy. You could feel the joy in her campaign.
Y'all, he must have been on them gummies. He must have been, well, looking at his current state when he did this video, he's saying everybody was happy. He had to be in a world or a bubble that only included him. He could not have been in his right mind saying this, just like he's not in his right mind in this video, in the state that he's in. So, like I said, pray for him too. Okay. Yeah, that part. Let's go.
And then all of a sudden, it's just been hijacked by these freaks of nature. They call themselves Trump supporters. What the? Nobody wants to live in a country full of hate. It's all hate, 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 hate. Trump hates everybody that's not white. And I can't believe people of color actually voted for him. How does that happen? What does he pay them? I'll give you some money if you vote against your own people. Who does that? This is not going to end well at all. It is not going to end well. What the hell?
Oh, Lord, have mercy. Listen, I cannot, y'all, I cannot. Listen, when I saw that, I was outdone. And sometimes you just sit back and wow, he's over there calling people that supported Trump fanaticals, and everybody was happy and we're freaks of nature if you supported Trump and anything that he had to say. He looks like he was alive in the presence of the Trump administration back in 2016. Not really sure because the protections for the alphabet community were in place then. So I'm not really understanding how it didn't benefit him during that tenure. But, you know, I digress. Y'all. We're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep it moving. Peace and blessings to those coming into the chat. We got Jaga in the building. Peace and blessings to you, to everybody. I appreciate y'all being here. So if you think that one was an issue, everybody was just so super emotional, just so super emotional. So let's go on to the next one.
Cries, but this could break me and my parents apart because they just don't understand what they voted for and like what it means and the bigotry and hatred that they stand behind, and how I like am trying to be a good person. I'm not Catholic like they are, which is ironic because it's like religion's supposed to make you love. But I could see it like breaking me and my parents apart because they just don't get it, and they don't get that they voted for someone who's gonna make my friends' lives hell. My life's okay, I'm a white woman, but my friends are not gonna be okay.
So she was speaking on her relationship with her parents. I'm not minimizing her experience. I can't relate on the same level that she's on. But I do know that there are a lot of families that have this entire election, and not just this one, but for some reason this one in particular, maybe because of so much being on the line, so much on each side of the spectrum they're focusing on. I mean, we're going through a whole process of the last 4 years of allowing illegal immigrants to come across the border, not just opening the door for them, but to absolutely place them as a priority over the citizens, the tax-paying citizens, giving them resources over the citizens. When in 2016, Trump got blasted and criticized and ostracized time in and time out for the wall that he was building. And now we're going into a reverse mode. And it just really makes me feel some type of way, because all of the, well, maybe not all, but most of the efforts, the resources, the billions of dollars, the crowdedness, the companies that are, have accumulated generational wealth by their services being used to fly them, bus them into various parts of the country, give them, their needs, their basic necessities, give them a leg up on acquiring businesses with grants, forgiven grants or forgiven loans, property. One of the plans for Kamala, had she been elected, was the $6,000 tax credit for those that have new babies. And, it is just one thing after another, one insult to injury, in my opinion, one after another. And for the life of me, I cannot understand or comprehend how we actually have such a vast amount of our citizens in this country. Thankfully, not enough, but still, they still are here, and they are absolutely feeling some type of way that the better of the two candidates was not elected, was not voted for in large amounts, right? And I just, the relationships in families, there has been a ridge in families, in work relationships, in all types of friendships, including myself. I've had a very close friend of mine that I've been friends with since I was knee high to a duck. And even though our relationship is good, I still feel a strain because of politics, because of political conversations. But one thing that I can say that I have noticed is that during this current administration, that is, thank God, on its way out, and that there is a 4-year tenure limit in election of change of power every 4 years, at least for the presidency of the United States, is that it really has brought to the surface people's mental capacities or limit thereof. There are a lot of people that are just so emotionally fragile or displaced that you just really can't, I can't relate. I can't understand for the life of me how these people really find some type of common sense or logic as to how and why the outside of identity politics, because nothing else was offered, in my opinion. Not one policy did she give that wasn't taken from somebody else. Not one policy that she at least uttered or gave word salad on did it make any sense. It sounded like a bunch of mumbo jumbo. And a lot of small businesses have been affected. People are having to take on multiple jobs in order to have multiple streams of income. The stresses have been felt amongst the families, when people don't really talk about when Trump was in office and we were going through COVID and everybody was at home. how people were still able to, if you utilize the resources that were given and you focused on that and you looked at the bigger picture, most people thrived. There were more small businesses that were created during that time than any other time in our current history. It was just, in overall, in my opinion, it was a much better situation. And then we have people that are really disturbed and upset with the fact that she did not get elected. Now, I do want to say this. I think we dodged a bullet, and I'm going to tell you why. One of the key indicators for me is when she left all of the people out there waiting for her to give her concession speech, or a speech acknowledging that she did lose the election to the people at Howard University, and she left them hanging. She did not show up, whether she was too upset, whether she didn't have anything planned, which I don't buy. I don't agree with that. That reasoning, right? She didn't even bother for the people that donated their time, their resources, going door to door, advocating for her, donating possibly to her her campaign, which is a whole nother thing, because another indication is that how you get over $1 billion in donations and you 20 million in the hole. I tell you why. I'm gonna say one name, Beyonce. We already know if Beyonce is showing up, you gonna have to have some Skrilla. Okay, but you ended up being, and this is before the election. This is before the election. This is before the election. You leave your people hanging at Howard University. You don't give an explanation. And I'm going to also tell you what I noticed that I don't know how many others did. But all of this feminist talk, all of this women's movement, all of these discussions and conversations about reproductive rights, and who did you rely on to make the excuse or to give the explanation that you wouldn't be showing up at Howard University to provide a statement acknowledging that you acquiesce to Trump and that he legitimately won? A black man. A black man. Where was your husband? Out of all of the white men, and I'm not making this a racial thing, but I just find it, the irony, uncanny for me. Because when you look around her, unless they're props or unless they are retained and bought and paid for, and they're jumping and endorsing her and jumping at her defense, you didn't see brothers making excuses for her or explaining her absence in such a paramount time during the election. There is a winner and there is a loser. And if you're not the winner, you are going to, in essence, become the loser. There had to be preparation of some sort. So in my opinion, I feel like there is definitely a lack of emotional intelligence for that position. Her as a woman coming, just had you won, and now you got to go sit at the big boys table and deal with the big boys, talk like the big boys, walk like the big boys, come to the table with the big boy terminology and attitude. You acted just like a woman, a typical woman, when she don't get her way. I just ain't gonna show up and I ain't got nothing to say. I'll talk when I'm ready to talk. I don't care what you do. Just make it go away for tonight. I'm not showing up. Exactly your thoughts. What happened to gracefully bowing out? The next day in the evening, early afternoon, that ain't gonna cut it. I still haven't watched the whole thing. I've seen the first couple of minutes of it, and I'm like, it's disingenuous to me. It's fake. None of it's authentic. You don't mean any of it. You're mad. You're big mad. And you want everybody to know it, but now you want to come with this, oh, well, we're gonna keep fighting. Keep fighting for what? Keep fighting for the illegals to keep coming across the border? And we're gonna get off into that too, a little taste, because the fact of the matter is that she still has the authority, and still the borders are currently, and she could be making different decisions as we speak. We have thousands upon thousands of illegals rushing the border now before January, when Trump gets into office. Nothing's been done. No conversation, no discussion, no different decisions, none of that. None of that. How I heard one content creator say, the Democrats played in our faces. I agree with that in more ways than one. As a matter of fact, I believe, and my opinion is that they played in our faces so tough at every turn. And what disturbs me is the amount of people of color that turned out to vote for her anyway. The difference is that you weren't going to play in these white people's faces. You got Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton, where they offered in Hurricane Helene $750 per family. That's an insult when they have lost everything. When you have people like Elon Musk, those that have helicopters, that have resources, that were able to organize the necessities such as water, food, toilet paper, clothing, transportation. The citizens were the ones that pulled together in order to help these people. And a lot of them, including Elon Musk, was blocked to a large degree. There was opposition. There were already legislation in place to say that you can't come and help the people and the victims of Hurricane Helene unless you know them, unless they know you're coming. How are they supposed to know you're coming when all of the communications have been wiped out? The roads have been decimated. There's no way to get to and from, to the point where they needed helicopters. And all you offered them a week later was $750 per family. When you have the immigrants getting top priority, staying in plush hotels, getting funded by the federal government hand over fist, the states and the sanctuary cities of the states of the sanctuary cities, there are several of them now that are filing for bankruptcy because they don't have any more resources to give. And if they're filing for bankruptcy, then that means that, guess what? The citizens go without. They don't get what their taxpayers' monies, their labor, their right in order to obtain benefits from resources in this country. Where was the vote? Where was the say? Okay, so if certain sanctuary cities voted at some point to become sanctuary cities, my question is, were there any type of legislation or laws in place to limit or to put borders, no pun intended, on what and how much the illegal immigrants could receive, was there a cap on how many can come in? We only have so much land. You can't make any more land. You can only do a transfer of ownership for this land. There are production companies for everything else, but you can't make more land. So if you're allowing people to come into open borders, and that's everybody from over 160 countries, and I know I sound like a broken record, but I need for this to resonate. And for some people, they just don't get it. I've had people push back on me and say, you know what? This has been a problem for years. I don't ever remember it being to this magnitude. We've always had open borders and correct routes and provisions in place to come in here in this country to become legal citizens or on the road to do so. But you don't just walk in having the same rights as those that were born on this soil. Now, I have been hearing, now correct me, and I'm going to pay attention to my chat, but correct me if I'm wrong, but for the past 2 years, at least 2 years, I've been hearing over 20 million or 20 plus million. Now, all of a sudden, now that Trump has gotten elected and now the immigration topic has been put back on the forefront in the media, I'm hearing 10 to 11 million. How, Sway? We missing a good 10, at least 10 million, and those are the ones that we know about. It's got to be much more than that if they're not counted and if they're not regulated, right? So I'm trying to understand, where did the other 10 million people go? They still legal? They still not counted for? Well, they're counted for when they get those EBT cards. They're counted for when they need a place to stay. They're accounted for when they're procreating and they have medical to cover them bringing children into birth onto this soil. They're accounted for when they go through a bank to get monies up to $25,000 in some instances to acquire other people's small businesses that are for sale because they can't afford the overhead to keep them going under this economy. How do we have a 10 million person deficit in the media and it's being pushed as if we only got, even if we did only have 10 million people, way too many, not to know where they come from, not to know their origin, but we give them flights into their desired location. Last time I went on the internet to look for flights, I was trying to go from one coast to the other, and a round trip ticket cost me, with 30 days in advance, over $600. They getting free flights in the middle of the night, going to their desired place or their desired destination. Speaking of which, I want to find this because I've been downloading these little clips, y'all. And there was one, I just got to figure out where I put it. Salute to the chat. Salute to the chat. I got to figure out where I put it. But there was a governing official living in her $1 million estate. And she had, I think I might know where it's at. She had a whole bus load dropped off at her front door. And this was recently. Oh, I hope I know where it's at because I thought it was hilarious. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me here. Okay, I may not be able to find it at a moment's notice. Give me 1 second. Did I find it? Did I find it? Okay. All right. I don't want to get too sidetracked. I'll look for it while we're watching another video. So let me go to my chat. We got, hey, Miss Collins. Hey, sis. We got Anesta in the building. The thumbnail lady done slid through to say hi. We got Cutting Edge. We got Shirley Hayes. Peace and blessings to everybody. I'm glad that y'all are here. Thank you for engaging in the chat. Okay, so I'm gonna look for that video, but let's go ahead and pivot. I'm gonna do one more video on the reactions, and this is like a little compilation of reactions that I thought was suitable. There's so many out here, but this was short to the point, and it gave to me a more well-rounded when it comes to different nationalities perspectives on Kamala losing the race.
All right, but you ain't a black gonna be in the office, and his white is gonna be out. We're taking the trash out, loser. All right, we in power now.
Have a nice day.
You have a wonderful day on the 5th, okay? You're gonna lose.
Okay.
And your leader,
Okay.
cult leader.
Bye-bye.
You dumb.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win.
Why? Do you really hate me that bad?
Gotta go to sleep. I might wake up a mother slave.
I swear to God, if you idiots elect that demented man, I will this whole place to the ground.
Man, the suicide rate's about to explode.
All right, but
For like all the illegals
I think
and
we
stuff.
have to be fair.
Guys, this is great. I think we found a new home for you guys.
What guys?
There you go.
Is that your bus?
Yeah.
I don't understand what this is all
Oh,
about.
there's all the immigration. They're gonna move into your house.
They are
Yeah.
not.
What do you mean? You just said you wanted to support everyone though.
That I don't.
No, they're
Guys,
not
we
violent.
got a
They're
new
not
house.
violent. They're good. They're
Oh no,
like
hop it! Like just like you guys did before.
Thank you very much.
Can they stay for dinner? Wait.
Sorry.
Well, we have your signature. You guys got to drive back down south.
Back to Home Depot.
We gotta watch that one again, y'all. That one was funny.
Anything for like all the illegals
I think
and
we
stuff.
have to be fair.
Guys, this is great. I think we found a new home for you guys.
Okay, so let me put this in context real quick. So they knocked on the door because she had a Kamala and whatever her vice president runner or her little sidekick was, right? And they knocked on the door because they obviously knew that she was a supporter for Kamala, which of course is also the borders are and has been very instrumental in allowing all of these illegal immigrants to come into the country unregulated. And not just that, but we want to go ahead and we want to set them up. We want to give them a nice plush place to stay. We want to give them all of the bells and the whistles to make America great again and make it look like, all of the images that they see on TV, if they have a TV in their country, however it looks, they got to have something because all of them rushing over here. They got TikTok, they got WhatsApp, they got all these different means of communication in order to communicate with those that have successfully come onto this soil, that have gone through the routes in order to obtain the maximum benefits of all of the illegals. And while they are speaking with her, she is just giving them all of this great information while this bus pulls up.
What guys?
There you go.
Is that your bus?
Yeah.
I don't understand what this is all
Oh,
about.
there's all the immigration. They're gonna move into your house.
They are
Yeah.
not.
She said they are not. Why not? Why not? They're good enough to go into the black neighborhoods and take over their homes. They're good enough for those that can't pay their property taxes. Their homes are foreclosed on. Guess what? There's a whole bunch of federal funding that has been allotted for them to be able to go and move into other people's properties, but they can't come into you. You look like you got a lot of room in your house, and you don't look like you take up a whole lot of space. And you probably up in there by yourself, unless you got a husband and maybe 1.5 children and some dogs out in the back. But from the looks of it, you can accommodate at least few of them people on that bus, in my opinion. But you know, who am I? Let's go.
What do you mean? You just said you wanted to support everyone, though.
Okay, that I don't.
No, they're
Guys,
not
we
violent.
got a
They're
new
not
house.
violent. They're good. They're
Oh no,
like
hop
that.
it! Just like you guys did before.
Thank you very much.
Can they stay for dinner? Wait. Well, we have your signature. You guys got to drive back down south.
Back to Home Depot.
She said, can they stay for dinner? Can they stay for dinner? I'm just asking, you know, can we stay for dinner? Listen, I love this one. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so let's go on. I do want to I like for people to utter their own words. And Trump, even though sometimes he be struggle streaming and struggle have, you know, he articulates the way Trump know how, and we already had 4 years of him, so most of us should be kind of used to it by now. But at the end of the day, we don't really need to like him. We just need to like some of his policies, or be able to utilize some of the policies that are for everybody and make them work for us, right? Our own individual families and households. Yes, Phoenix, not hop the fence like they hopped the border. That part. While she got that sticker sitting outside in her front yard talking about she support Kamala Harris. And her VP has tampon dispensaries or dispensers in the boys' bathroom. I need for them to expeditiously, y'all, I gotta say this. In the real world, we gotta wait till January 6th. But in my world, as soon as he got elected, I was like, time to get to work. We don't want to wait till she's gone in January 6th. We can't afford to wait. We can't afford to. I really believe that. I really feel that way. I mean, but we have to. So anyway, that's what it is. So let's go on to, okay, so now I don't know if anyone is familiar, but Mexico just elected a new president. And the new president is a woman. Okay, so y'all already know, we just, you know, we were on the borderline of having to find out what that's like to have a woman president representing supposed to be the strongest country in the world. I don't know anymore, but that's always been our reputation, right? Going into boardrooms or into round tables with other power world leaders talking about negotiating, when this woman couldn't even, or decided not to even give a concession speech or to honor the hard work, the sacrifice, and the assistance that she received from so many others that look like her but don't come from her background, her lineage background. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that. But with them having Mexico having a woman president, Trump has vocalized and uttered that he is, yes, they are going, yes, Phoenix. That's right, baby. I hope so. I've been trying to find some, I know they have some clips out there, but you know, most of the clips that I've been searching for, they're just saying what they're going to do, not what they are currently doing. And I'm sure that's to not usurp the power that is currently in office, and to give respect to the fact that the Democrats will still at least be in office until January 6th. So I get it. I respect it to a certain degree, but I'm ready for her to go. Her and her whole side over there to go. I really am. And I hate to say it, but I like seeing them squirm. I like seeing them kind of irritated, because we've been squirming and irritated for the past 4 years and ain't really had no say so. Nobody over there has come to us and asked us our opinion. None of us have given a vote to any of the issues that we are directly and have directly been affected by. So all I got to say is touche. So I'll let Trump go ahead and say what he's going to say in regards to if Mexico does not handle or get a handle on what they have going on in Mexico to avoid them having to all come over here and seek asylum and seek wealth and seek, citizenship and all of that other stuff, then this is what he plans on doing.
Jessica, I suppose a very nice woman. They say I haven't met her, and I'm going to inform her on day one or sooner that if they don't stop this onslaught of criminals and drugs coming into our country, I'm going to immediately impose a 25% tariff on everything they send in to the United States of America. And it's only got a 100% chance of working, because if that doesn't work, I'll make it 50. And if that doesn't work, I'll make it 75 for the tough guys, and I'll make it 100. But now,
and we wonder why there's such a long line of them at the border right now trying to get across these lines, because they already have their sets of challenges. But this is my thing, y'all. My whole thing on this and my whole viewpoint is, I don't think most of us, or at least most of the people that I know, including me, I don't have a problem with you coming to this country through the due process, going through the channels that are in place so it doesn't affect the citizenship or the original descendants of this land here. It's different when you go through different channels, you form your own communities, your own environments. I am pro all of that. We have our own sets of issues here without an illegal migrant crisis or problem. Every country has their own challenges to deal with. Y'all, countries need to be dealing with your own issues. Solving your problems does not include coming over here and creating and bringing your current issues into this country on top of the issues that we already currently have in this country that don't even include or are not connected to whatever is going on in your homeland, right? Why is it okay for these 160 different countries to come over here and seek asylum onto soil where we have our own challenges? We got vets that are treated as second and third class citizens. They can't get their basic needs met. How do you think that makes them, along with the homelessness and the homeless population, feeling such the effects of what is already transpiring on this soil? Now, the few resources that we did have in place, they're not even accessible to us anymore, because we have a current free world leader in place that thinks and shows us and tells us exactly what they think of us by allowing who knows what from who knows where to come into this country. Crime is up. Inflation and groceries are out of control. The housing market is in disarray. Inflation is out of this hemisphere. And if you're homeless or you're on the brink of being homeless, you're struggling to pay your bills, oh, just get another job. Well, they've taken over a lot of the work entry level jobs that are still available. The AI is not taking over. So Pepsi, I don't know if anybody is aware, but Pepsi at the Chicago factory, you had almost 200 people, 170 something. I want to say 174 that went to go to work. I think it was yesterday morning or it was a day or two. Whenever the media got it out, it just happened within the last couple of days. And they were escorted off of the property. They weren't allowed to clock in, and they were escorted off of the property by police officers. And they were told that the plant and the factory has closed. A majority of those employees have been there as long as 40 years. 40 years. Of the ones that I saw were interviewed on this particular news clip, he had been there 8. So that was the lowest amount of time that I saw somebody working there. Everybody else was 20, 30, like I said, up to 40 years of buying property, feeding your family, growing your family, getting up and going to work every day, trading your time for money, working overtime, working on holidays. Because you know these big corporations like Pepsi and others don't really care about what you got going on. They care about keeping their margin profits and their bottom lines where they deem it keeps them and their families in a comfortable state. Right? So whatever jobs we got, this is on our soil. These are our citizens. And in some of those cases, these were people that came here from other countries that sought legal citizenship and paid the price and gave the sacrifice, paid their dues, so to speak. And that's how Pepsi treated them. Not only was it a shock for those people to get up and go to work and not have a job to go to, but they always pull this shit right around the holidays. We got Thanksgiving and Christmas for those who celebrate and partake. We got that coming up this month. Last year was Amazon. This is why I feel some type of way as well when it comes to me being partial and me being more pro. If I got to choose between the lesser of two evils, it's going to be Trump over Kamala or the Democratic Party or the left or the liberals, due to the fact that we should be encouraging people to be more self-sustaining than working for others and being unappreciated. They don't want us to have any control. You see what just happened? You got people that have donated their entire adult existence, to one company to get up and go to work, to be there on time, and you can't even clock in. And now you are being escorted to your vehicles and watched as you drive off with no answers. Now, Pepsi, those employees are union. And as with any union, there should be some protections in place. One of the protections in place is that they're supposed to get a 60-day notice or 60 days of pay, their sick time, their leave time, 401k, all of these different things. But after them 2 months, then what? So Pepsi made a statement stating that they will actually go ahead and honor that part of the union agreement. But after that, they didn't guarantee any job placement anywhere else. They didn't assure them of any other securities to help them transition into something else when some of them have been there 20, 30, 40 years, which is most of their adult lives. And they won't even tell them why they're closing the factory. So I was reading the comments, and I don't know how true it is. This is just based off of what I read. In the comments, one lady commented that her brother was actually a manager at that particular factory in that location, and he specifically said that they are losing their jobs to artificial intelligence and to robots. So whatever jobs are not being consumed and absorbed by AI, we've got the immigrants here. And during the election progress in 14 states out of all the states that make up this conglomerate of a nation, you can't even ask the voters for their IDs to vote. They don't need them. The illegal immigrants aren't required to get identification to purchase and get funding for small businesses. When anybody that lives in this country that has a small business, that has gone to any type of banking institution, it is not the status pro quo to give you a business loan. There are more denials because they claim it is more of a risk. It ain't no risk for illegal immigrants. You have no idea. There's no credit score. There's no history. There's no job history. There's no, what do they call it? Resume, no portfolio, nothing to tie them to if they're going to even be able to pay the loan back. Why? Because they're not expected to pay it back. On whose dime? Somebody got to absorb that. Somebody got to pay for that. Who? Phoenix Rising says, I just seen that. They said the writing was on the wall, but some folks didn't leave because they didn't want to lose their benefits. And I find some credence in that, Phoenix, because I heard a couple of the long timers say that they're going to lose their 401ks, their retirement. Let me say this to any of the people that may not be citizens of this country that come across my stream or this video. All that glitters ain't gold. This country don't give you nothing. And I mean nothing if they don't see a way to get 100% return on it. I don't want the government handing me nothing because there are strings attached. And they're going to want your soul when it's all said and done. They're going to want your family. They're going to want your children. They're going to want to educate your children, to program your children, to indoctrinate your children. And the first thing they're going to do is remind you of how you got here. I don't want them giving me nothing. And I mean nothing. I have always worked for everything that I've gotten, or I have paid into resources that I have received. Been working since I was 13 years old, on paper since I was 16, where parents had to sign, and a lot of states still do, but back then all the states had to sign, the parents had to sign a document giving your children permission to work. My daddy had his own business, and as soon as I was able to count money and interact with customers and perform duties inside of his business to assist and to help it grow, he threw me in there. For that, I would forever be grateful. Now, to me, that is an example of getting it out the mud. I don't know nothing about no Section 8 outside of what I've heard. Thank God. No knock to those that have it or need it. But I do believe that it should be temporary. I do not believe that it should be a lifelong plan for the government to take care of you. Because as soon as the government calls in its favors, you are going to be the top one on the list. Now, I done got a little bit off topic, but it all meshes in together as far as I'm concerned. And again, for those that come across this video, the government in the United States of America is not going to give you anything without expecting double that in return. At some point, and trust me, whenever they call in their return, you are not going to be ready. You are not going to be prepared. And while we are on the verge of civil unrest in this country, it should not be so because of the catalyst and the facilitator of hoping for us to get there. Nothing else is explainable, in my opinion. Nothing else makes sense. There is no other logic. Right? So back to the video where Trump is saying, okay, y'all don't want to fix whatever y'all got going on in your neck of the woods over there yonder, then you're going to pay the cost to do business over here. Why? Primarily, first of all, he's a businessman, and number two, because half of your people are over here. Yes, this is also true. I heard that this morning as well. However, I only heard that being applicable in New York. I don't know if it's across the sanctuary cities, but I do know specifically the mayor of New York, he stated that was going to be implemental. Now, this is the problem I got with that too, Phoenix and chat. Why you wait until after Trump get elected? You done showed your whole ass out here. You done showed your whole personality out here. You done showed your whole hand out here. For the past 4 years, these people have been funded. You have provided. You have acquiesced to their demands, which for the life of me, I can't understand how people that don't live here can demand anything. When the people that live here, we don't even get a vote. And the votes that we do get, we have to keep all our eyes open, the third one included, and the ones in the back of the head, to make sure y'all ain't trying to swindle us out of our vote on that end. So why you wait until Trump get elected in order to say, okay, well, we getting ready to start cutting off some resources and some funding? Why? Because your ass broke? And you know Trump ain't going to give you no more money. Not for them. FEMA, on the first hurricane of the year, broke. Why? They call it misinformation. Anytime I see the misinformation label on any social media platform, I'm assuming it's the truth. Because if it makes sense and it's logical, it's usually ringing true at that point. You can't just tell me it's misinformation because you got access to do so and think that that's just going to be sufficient. It's not. FEMA said straight out, even if he spoke too soon in Kamala's taste or the administration's taste, he said, we broke. We ain't got no money. The reason why we offer $750 for the family, not individual, per family, because we don't have it. Well, where'd it go? It went to funding the illegals. How is that connected? How? FEMA is for natural catastrophe emergencies primarily. Illegals is an emergency, and in some, okay, well, depending on who's thinking about it, I guess it could be a natural catastrophe. No, it's a catastrophe, not natural, because it was promoted to happen. If the borders aren't open and if the laws were being followed and they were being respected, then guess what? We wouldn't be in this situation. Now, I'm going to tell you where they messed up at. And they pissed the white people off. Them hurricanes. Honey, now you thinking about Pepsi and all of the long-term employees, and I'm not minimizing that or making a comparison. I'm just saying, when it comes to people that have invested, got property generationally, there are a lot of properties in North Carolina that are passed down through the generations that the hurricane destroyed. They don't offer insurance on highland, flood insurance on highland properties, because it just is not a natural course of things for mountaintops and of homes that are elevated high above sea level to be flooded. And it was alone. So a lot of people in North Carolina in them rural areas, they're of the Caucasian persuasion. Once that happened, and Kamala waited a week later to tell them that the entire amount that the whole family was going to get was $750. Honey. And then right after that, you had Milton. And again, Helene was the first hurricane of the season, of the Hurricane 2024 season. There should have been money in there, plenty of money. There is a yearly budget allotted for FEMA every single year. So if they're using it for things such as hurricanes, tornadoes, natural catastrophes, earthquakes, things of that nature, so on and so forth, why wasn't there any money there? And then you go on a national campaign, and I noticed right off the rip, you're not going to do nothing specifically for Black people, but you hitting all of these Black radio stations, doing interviews, these camaraderie ships with all of these Black celebrities. You got Meg Thee Stallion twerking, you got Glorilla twerking. They bleeping out every other one of her words during her performance at a whole Democratic rally. You got Beyonce speaking. You got, I love Kelly Rowland, but you got Kelly Rowland out here looking like Edward Scissorhands with her gear on. Everybody that you pandering to is Black, but you're not going to do anything specifically for the Black community. And you know what the sad part is, y'all? That a majority of melanated people still got out and voted for her. When I saw those statistics, I was blown away. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was blown away. Are we just gluttons for punishment? Is that where we at with it all? Right? Reading Complex Design, he says, is 300 years worth of phosphates under the ground in Tampa, Orlando area, as well as North Carolina. And both of them gave them opposition when they wanted to mine and build mines in those areas. The citizens said no. The one way that they're able to circumvent that is through eminent domain. And the easiest way to acquire eminent domain, correct me if I'm wrong, is through national catastrophes, or what is considered national catastrophes, right? Our people perish from a lack of knowledge. we're in 2024, and there's a majority of our people that are still voting for identity politics. Fix your own house before you decide to become a guest in somebody else's house. Because if not, you dragging whatever's broken and wrong in your house into my house, and that's going to be problematic. However, people teach you how to treat them. And we have representation currently in office saying, all you got to do is get here. We got you. Just make it through. We got you. With what resources? And if I'm not mistaken, okay, I'm going to say it. One of the biggest investors in the proposed mines that the citizens neglected and rejected in North Carolina is none other than Kamala's husband. Say if that's true, which there is actually documentation to substantiate that. And I've seen it. That's why I feel comfortable enough to speak on it. But say that that's true. And at the end of the day, you wouldn't even recompense the people that you are displacing with more than $750 loan, one-time payment. There are no installations. There's no verbiage to say that this is just the beginning. But now you're going to walk away just like the Obamas did. Richer than most. Right? Okay, y'all, I've been talking long enough. Let's go to the next video. Speaking of illegal immigrants, we're going to go into a video real quick of the surges. Your Thought says they have been doing things like this to certain farmland as well. Don't make me go down that rabbit hole. We got Bill Gates in China owning the most farmland just with those two entities in this country, where we have billions of people that are citizens of this country. Bill Gates and China own the most farmland. Let's go.
Saying that the agencies likely could not handle a potential surge if Trump won at year end. Trump began threatening consequences for the migrant caravans even before he secured the win. Watch.
Now we have a new president in Mexico. I'm going to inform her on day one or sooner that if they don't stop this onslaught of criminals and drugs
The
coming
hell?
into
You
our
cannot be
country,
serious.
I'm going to immediately impose a 25% tariff on everything they send in to the United States of America. Because if that doesn't work, I'll make it 50. And if that doesn't work, I'll make it 75 for the tough guys, and I'll make it 100.
There you go. He's using tariffs in a strategic way. Joining me now is Lieutenant Christopher Oliveras of the Texas Department of Public Safety. Lieutenant, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. So I want to get your take on what you're expecting at year end. How likely are we going to see a big surge in migrants to try to get through before Trump takes office? What are you seeing on the ground right now, 2 days after the election?
Good morning, Maria. Great to be with you as always. Of course, now with this, that it's been confirmed now that President Trump will be the new president going into 2025. We do anticipate that we may see a surge of potential illegal immigration taking place on the border. There has been caravans. We talked about this several times, I believe, the last time I was on your show, anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 these groups that are making their way to the border. Now, again, once they get to the border or even to northern Mexico, they do break up into smaller groups, and they will try to make entry in other parts along the border, El Paso, New Mexico, California, Arizona, some parts in Texas. So we are ready. I've always said this, we are ready. We still have the same resources that we've had from day one with Operation All Star, the amount of soldiers and state troopers that we have on the ground. So we are ready for any potential surge. We've reinforced areas along the border where there is no border wall, where there is no reinforcements. We are placing barriers along those areas, and we're actually arresting illegal immigrants that are coming across the river that are committing state crime. So we are sending a message in Texas that we're going to make it least desirable to cross in Texas. We want to make it very difficult as well, and that we're going to try to push that flow to the west, which would be Arizona and California and those areas. So we are ready for any potential surge moving forward. And of course, even after inauguration, we will still have a single amount of manpower because it is going to take some time to actually, restore some of the damage that's been taking place over the last 4 years on the border.
It absolutely is going to take time. There's no time like the present to at least start implementing the process of at least slowing down what we have coming in at the last minute. You saw it. You saw those people. And I always like to mention and remind people that they come over here and the only thing that some of them have are backpacks. A majority of them come over here with the clothes on their backs. When they get here, what other country do you know that where we can go and just walk on their land and be taken care of? Place to stay, food, stipends for food, hygiene needs, basic necessities. There are people over here that have gotten transportation, again, small businesses. The whole plan was to get them to be able to purchase homes. There are a lot of them, especially particularly in rural areas, that they're branching out to and being dropped off at, where there's only a limited amount of jobs available, level entry jobs, that you don't even really have to speak English. But because they're willing to accept lower pay, they're being hired and the citizens are being let go. This woman lacked character, integrity, and class, in my opinion. Very, very selfish, very self-centered, very narcissistic. These are all my opinions. Where you can actually position yourself to be in a capacity where you know people are going to have something to say, but you still navigate with the big picture of being elected. That's all you cared about, was being elected. Never answered any direct questions. You played in our faces. That was the most offensive to me, to the point where I couldn't even stand to hear her voice, watch her hand movement, hear that wicked laugh, that fake laugh. Because you don't give a damn at the end of the day. You don't care about nobody but what you got going on. And you were placed in that position. Trump got the popular vote, y'all. He didn't just win the election. He got voted with the most popular vote. We're almost done.
Well, Christopher, I mean, this drug cartel situation has become a massive, massive business. And, the fact that this has become so dangerous with the drug cartels deciding who comes into America and who doesn't, and then, doing businesses in the U.S., demanding those people, once they're in the U.S., continue to pay them. Do you believe that Trump would actually see this as a need for military? Do you expect that the military perhaps could come down to Texas to help? You guys have been doing this on your own. Greg Abbott and the Lone Star program has done a great job, but we're still in this position. And now we're waiting for more migrants before Trump gets elected. What do you think the solution is in terms of getting a hold on that massive drug cartel business?
Maria, I don't think that's something that we should take off the table. I think all options should be looked at, especially when we talk about the drug cartels. We know how violent they are. We know how powerful they are. How they've been able to expand their influence, not just in Mexico but across the entire United States, and how they have that influence with drugs and human smuggling, and also corruption. So we're going to need more resources. Obviously, we're not going to just. It's not going to just take the state of Texas as well as Border Patrol agents. We're going to need more resources, and that takes military resources. They can be used in a strategic manner to gather intelligence. So we can actually go after these cartels and actually combat some of this transnational criminal activity. We talked about this, over the years, how the Mexican drug cartels.
Y'all look at the numbers on this. Our children are being trafficked. Their children are being trafficked. It's easier for their children to be trafficked because we don't have any record of their children. This rabbit hole goes deep. This rabbit hole goes deep.
Have adapted from drug smuggling to human smuggling, where now human smuggling has been a multi-billion-dollar criminal network for them. So when they see this flow of mass illegal immigration to start to decrease because of Trump's policies and how he's going to actually take action on the border, they're going to try to find other ways to get those profits. So,
well, they are already bringing the fentanyl in the candy, in the form of candy. And no, the drugs aren't going anywhere, and neither is the human trafficking, in my opinion. There is so much more profit, and it's more marketable on the black market for human trafficking and sex trafficking than it is for drugs. And we're letting people from gangs from other countries come into this country. That know all about it, that facilitated the same practice in their native country. That's what I mean by go home and fix your country, your home ground. We got enough of our own issues here. But it's really not their fault solely because they are being encouraged, promoted, and it is being made appealing, or has been made appealing to come into this country where nobody knows you. Can you imagine going to a whole nother country with total anonymity? Nobody has any record of anything that you've ever done in life, anywhere you've been, your name, your lineage, your work history, your connection to children, to parents, no bloodline history. It gives you permission to go and live as freely as you choose to, without feeling of consequence. But yet and still, we have an acting administration for 4 years. That's a long time, y'all. Don't get me, because I'm a numbers girl. Hold on a second. And I'm 1,460 days approximately. 1,460 days from the time they took office up until now, approximately, where the borders have been open and we don't know who's coming through. And we have thousands of people coming through that border illegally every single day. Rebranding. Yes, Aaliyah. Rebranding. It's all it's done, just like slavery. It's all, absolutely. It's just been modified. It's just been transformed. The concept is exactly the way it was 400 plus years ago. Absolutely. There is one more video I would like to show, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap up. And this one here is based off of video footage of the open border. How it really happens in real life. Hold on, y'all.
The illegal immigrants country. What do you guys think you're doing? This country's for illegal immigrants. You guys are dirty Americans. Get out of the way. How rude of you. How rude of you to think you have a country anymore. Hey, let's get another truck up here so no media can see this. In fact, let's just ban the media. Hey guys, we're going to need you to shut your cameras off. We cannot document Biden's border invasion, okay? Everybody shut your cameras down. No free speech. The Border Patrol's here to tell me to shut up too. Sir, he says, an American citizen. An American citizen. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This guy's ridiculous. The other media to be able to cover this. No media. No media though. Hey, no media. Nobody see the illegal immigrants. It's not happening. It's not happening. Sir, am I okay to be upset? Do I have the right to redress grievances here?
But you're not being. You're being discourteous to your country.
I'm being discourteous. A wide open border, but I'm being discourteous. I love it.
Allow them to
I love it.
report.
They can record. Nobody's
Allow them
stopping
to
them.
report.
Nobody's stopping them except you guys. Look, she's trying to stop the media. You guys don't want us to see this. You drove a bus through a ravine. You drove a bus through a ravine so we couldn't see this. Do you think the American people are stupid? Do you guys think the American people are stupid? Do you guys like this? You guys like, get out of the way, dirty Americans. Shut off your cameras. Nobody's allowed to see. There is no Biden border invasion. Shut your cameras off. Everybody go home.
What have you done for the country?
Excuse me?
What have you done for the country?
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm asking you.
What have they done for the country? I pay for their bills. I pay taxes.
You don't pay taxes.
Okay, so what's your point?
So again, what have you done for this country?
So you're okay with the illegal invasion? You're cool with that? Should we fund it? Should we fund endless wars in Ukraine? Should we fund endless illegal immigration? Is that your policy? You like that?
Are they illegal?
Yes.
Because according to me, from what I understood, the asylum is still.
Okay, so we should just get rid of the whole immigration system then, right? So let's get rid. Well, then why have it? Why have an immigration system?
That's not what I'm saying at all.
So let's have an open border and a welfare state. This is an attack on the country, folks. That's what this is. If you can't see it, you're oblivious. And we sit here and film it and take this from our government. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But hey, don't worry. They'll get taken care of. They'll get food. They'll get clothes. They'll get everything they need. You dirty Americans need to shut up and get out of the way. Look at this. They get protected. They get protected with guns, but the Democrats, when
they get protected with our American military. Make it make sense. They get protected with our American military. I just got super mad. Oh.
take guns from you. So guns to protect the illegal immigrants, but y'all aren't allowed to have guns when the Democrats ban all your assault weapons. This is just ludicrous, man. This is a clown world that I live in. What a joke.
You gotta move back.
Get out of the way, you dirty Americans. This isn't your country anymore.
Operation.
Law enforcement, open border law enforcement here. This is what you get when incompetent clowns run your country. And you're not going to shut me up. I'm an American citizen. I have a First Amendment right. It's time we start acting like Americans. This is ridiculous. And you know what?
Oh, we did. We did on November 6th. Americans came out of their homes and they exercised their right to vote. Shout out to America for making a logical decision and making a decision other than the decision that we've been living under for the past 4 years.
I guarantee you they all agree with me. I guarantee you they all agree with me. But their leaders are too cowardly to do the right thing.
Yep.
Yeah, get that Border Patrol truck in the way. Make sure nobody can see it. Unbelievable. You guys like this? You guys like Biden's America? The same Border Patrol agent that tried to shut me up said there was no illegal immigrants coming in just 20 minutes ago. This is amazing stuff right here, isn't it? Let's all just accept the state of our country. Make sure the illegal immigrants get better protection and more rights than everybody here.
Unbelievable stuff. And look, hey, no one else complains. You know, it's always got to be me. No, everybody else loves being told that they don't have any rights and they have to pay for all of it. They just love being lied to. They love being treated like a bitch by their government. It's just beautiful stuff. Welfare state, open border, great stuff. Just beautiful.
Y'all, listen. That's right. We know that for a fact, but I just want to say shout out to that one because I'm sure he was aware of that as well, but he stood on his beliefs. He stood on his truth. He stood on speaking out and being willing to do what most won't, right? And we are paying for all of it. All of it. The military, shout out to Ms. Yo Thoughts, the police, shout out to my chat. The taxes, the tax monies, they come over here with the clothes on their backs. The clothes on their backs. What other, I hear horror stories coming out of Dubai where women are getting time for being too loud, too aggressive, too boisterous. A disposition will get you time in that country. And especially when you are not a native of that country and their soil. But we, good old United States of America, honey, come on, we got you. We can't create more land. We owe everybody in the world. China owns up to about a third of our land, the land that we do have. Inflation is at an all-time high. People are having to pay rent where it's double what a mortgage should be, not where it is, but where it should be for today's interest rates. But we don't care about none of that. Come on, we got you. We're gonna give you housing. We're gonna give you food. We're gonna take care of your babies. If you're working, pay taxes. We're gonna give you jobs. We're going to take our citizens and make them second-class citizens. We don't know nothing about you. You could be coming over here with machetes and a diabolical mind and a diabolical record from wherever you came from. But we don't care about none of that. We want you over here. Why? Why? Why do we want you over here? It's the last freestanding country before they're able to fully implement the New World Order. All of these smart 15-minute cities where you can't go 15 minutes out of your community. Everything, I look at Maui. Nobody's talking about that, but I bet you if we do some research, they're replanning and they are rebuilding 15-minute city. I bet you. I'm not 100%, but I bet you. Whatever land the celebrities haven't taken over, the 1%. I would be skeptical and have been, even when I didn't understand why I was always skeptical with the government giving me anything. It mitigated my mindset if I ever needed the government for anything, because like I said, I've been working on paper since I was 16 years old. So I've paid into the very taxes where I needed some help temporarily. Because I ain't never liked nobody telling me what to do. My parents are good and gone and they've transitioned on, but if they were here, they would tell you so. I was respectful, but I was super independent from a very young age. And I don't want nobody handing me shit. Because now I'm asking you, why? Why are you willing to invest in me and ask for nothing in return? My relationships are built off of reciprocity. I don't even feel comfortable being in a relationship where I don't give no value. I have nothing to offer it. But you got millions of people coming across the borders from 160 different countries. And not only are they comfortable with it, but the very taxpayers' monies that is paving their way to a different life, or the possibility for a different life over here, if they could get away with it, they would spit on you. Right? So that is pretty much what I got, y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. My chat. Okay, so I do want to go through my chat. Our taxes are paying for all of this. If I needed food stamps right now, we all need food stamps right now. Even if you don't need them, you still need them. The fact that the illegals are getting them and they have no rights to them. We all need them. We should be first priority, whether we need them or we don't. If you're willing to give them to unknowns, so you're doing pass interference. So you're going to take our monies because you were elected into a specific office, and whatever you don't fund overseas, that we have no knowledge of what the vested interest of all of that is, all of these different countries, you'll take our monies and you will redistribute it in our faces while we got homeless people, we got hungry people, we got our elderly in the grocery stores trying to decide whether they're going to get milk or eggs or bread. It's demonic, sadistic. And every day that I am granted another day here, it's more fortified how I believe that we are the modern day Babylon. Michelle said, America was founded on chaos. Unfortunately, it will reap what it has sown. We've already started, and we seem to be the collateral damage. I'm with you, O Speaks. I'm with you. But unfortunately, we're not the ones that have the power on how the monies are distributed, how the resources are distributed. They have somehow managed to be open and okay with doing that and doing it in our faces. To me, it gave the definition or the phrase, it gave credence to the phrase they playing in our faces, a whole new meaning for me. This party, this political party did it to themselves. In all of my years, I have never seen so many red states. So many red states. People are tired. We are in survival mode. You can't even walk. The whole air, the density of the air, the vibe, the energy, the weather is different. I remember I used to be able to walk outside when it was sunny, and instantaneously my spirit and my vibration would lift. It would be lifted. I would notice a difference right away. Now you have to be so intentional about everything and be so alert and mindful. I used to be pro the states legalizing marijuana. I don't feel that way anymore. They want us medicated. They want us dumbed down. They want us inebriated, and they want us sleepwalking. Because people in those states don't fight back. They acquiesce. They succumb to the conditions that are given them. When the Bible speaks of us walking around sober-minded, especially in the last days, you better take heed. I know it's uncomfortable. It wasn't meant to be comfortable. We're not living in heaven. We're living on hell on earth, in my opinion. The good part about it is that God resides here as well. So when you seek him, you'll find him. But don't be confused and don't be illusioned to think that what you're looking at is reality. Come on, Miss Chicago. The only thing we got from the Democrats, they gave us some pipes, something to keep our pipes clean and a healthier way to get high. We appreciate that. Thank you. Y'all be mindful when you got children, nieces, nephews, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, whatever fits, or all of the above. I wouldn't be feeding any of my kids candy at this point, but if I were, please make sure that that candy is inspected. You know the source of it. You supervise it. They are coming over here, and pounds upon pounds of fentanyl inside of candy is being taken from those coming across the border. Again, if you don't have gloves on and enough of it is absorbed in the skin, it'll check you out of here. Can you imagine a healthy piece of hard candy goes into your child's mouth and you find them deceased? If you find them and nobody else does. Come on, Miss Yo, you're going to have to do a live on how to make our own candy. I know you know. I ain't never made my own candy. I try not to really be all up because my dinner bills, the way my dinner bills have been set up, I learned my lesson. Candy ain't that appealing to me. I got a 16-year-old that won't even eat no more candy because I made him pay for his last filling. I paid for the first 2 or 3, and after that, I say, oh, you want to still eat candy? Then guess what? You going to be responsible for that next one. And it came up. He paid for it. He ain't put a piece of candy in his mouth since. Right? And she said, I know how to make ice cream. Yes, indeed. But the candy is a whole different story. But either or, I appreciate it. I'm just saying, y'all, all that glitters ain't gold. I feel a sense of relief to a certain point. But one thing, my friendship, my evolving friendship with Miss Yo Thoughts, and I feel so blessed with her in my life, and I hope she feels the same about me. But I've learned so much from her. And one of the things that I've learned and that I was on the road to, but she helped cement it with our conversations and with the way she lives her life, is that no matter, we should be constructing and positioning ourselves in our lives to where no matter who's in office, we still gonna be good. We still gonna be good. It's basically a formality, because it doesn't really affect our everyday circumstances when you are self-sufficient and when you are in order, when you are living in biblical order. I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna check on out of here, because I wouldn't be me if I didn't put it inside of a live stream. If you don't have a familial community, you better get one. Because I feel like Trump bought us some more time. But prophecy is prophecy. What the outcome is going to be is going to be. I do believe that we've been given some grace, because if we were to stay under the current administration, there will be so many more that perish. So I feel like we have some more time, maybe not much. And I don't want us to walk around thinking that it's much. It's not. We don't have a lot of time. Get you a community. Become a part of a bigger community than you have with like-minded people. Learn all you can about living off of the land. If you're not a minimalist, look into it. Investigate it. Less is more. Less is more. We need to make our families work. We need to give one another more grace and realize that none of us are perfect and none of us are better than the next person. That will help us allow others to be who they are and to give them grace, coexist, cohabitate, and build with people outside of ourselves. One of the reasons I believe that our life expectancy has dropped drastically is because we are always in survival mode. When you're doing everything by yourself, you're not going to be able to come out of survival mode. We are out of order collectively. Shout out to those nuclear families that are still holding on. To me, that's a key indicator that you aren't selfish, that you are thinking from a place of biblical standards, scripture, and that you're looking at a vision that is bigger than yourself. We got way too many baby mamas out here, single mother homes, single father homes. The family is in disarray collectively. Shout out to those nuclear families that get it and that have sacrificed to hold on to it, because that's the only way it's going to stay cohesive, is through sacrifice. Mutual understanding, like minds. And that's a good place to end, y'all. And always walk in peace. I keep telling people, it took me a long time to get my peace. And I knew I had peace when I was able to maintain it through so much adversity around me, so much fear mongering. I stopped watching TV, regular TV, back in 2020. I don't have a TV in my room. And the one TV I do have in my home, that is only cut on maybe a couple times a month for an hour here and there. If that. My peace is everything. Once you get a taste of it, it becomes priceless. Okay? So, again, I be doing all kind of twists and turns, but I tie it all in because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about the nuclear family. It's about people walking in peace, living in peace. It's about your relationship with God. It's about being able to be formidable in this environment in the last days. So I don't want us to get comfortable because of who's in office. There are lesser of two evils, in my opinion. We just got graced with the lesser of the two currently at the forefront. Stay on your grind, stay with your vision, stay on your purpose, stay connected to God and to those that love you. What's up is down and what's down is up. So whatever looked normal, I would question it. We are definitely in the matrix. Much love to y'all. Peace and blessings. And I will see y'all soon. Thank you to my chat. Thank you to my mods. I appreciate y'all. And with that, I'm out.